Hi and welcome to the SM Greenboard. In this video I'll be talking about Git and GitHub. So if you never used Git before, then I hope this video is going to help you to get you started. So Git is a version control software that helps software developers to manage their projects very efficiently, and also multiple developers can collaborate on a project by Git. There are two kinds of version control tools. One is centralized and another one is distributed. So Git is a distributed version control tool. Centralized version control system uses a central server to store all the files, and one of the major drawbacks of the centralized version control system is that whenever that central server goes down or gets corrupted for some reason and you don't have the backup for the files, then entire history of your project is gone, okay, and you cannot collaborate with other developers when that central server is down. So this is where a distributed version control system comes into play, like Git. Okay, so Git doesn't really depend on the server. Okay, every developer, every client are going to have their own version of that repository. Repository is where all your project files are saved. So every developer, they are collaborating with one another for a project. They are going to have their own repository and local repository, and they can work on that repository. The only time they need to be online with the server is when they are going to publish their changes to that server. Okay, so it allows you to work offline, and whenever some changes had been made, then you can come online and then you push your changes to the server. Okay, so that's the major difference between centralized and distributed version control system. Now let's look at the basic workflow when you are working with Git. So there are three components of Git. One is the working directory. Obviously, if you're working on a project, that project directory, or where all your project files are saved, that's your working directory. Maybe you are adding files to that, modifying files, and deleting files from that directory according to your project work. So after that, when you decide that you are going to you need to add those files to your repository, Git repository, what you are going to do is first perform one add operation. That add operation is going to move some files to the staging area. So you decide which file you are going to add to the repository. So first you move those files to the staging area, and after that you perform one commit operation, and that is going to move all those files in the staging area to the Git repository. Okay, so this is the basic workflow. Okay, now let's see how we can set up Git so that we can start using it. Go to Google and search for Git, and click on the first search result that says Git. This is going to take you to the download page, and on the download page click downloads, and you will find different set of files for different platforms. I'm on Windows, so I'm going to click on Windows, and here you will find your appropriate set of file for 32-bit or 64-bit machine. So whatever is suitable for you, download that and install. So that's pretty straightforward. I already installed this on my machine. Okay, once you install Git on your machine, now open up one terminal from here, click command prompt and just type Git. Now if you see all this information about Git, that means you have successfully installed Git on your machine. Okay, now you can use Git. Now one more thing that we need to do is go to github.com, GitHub, and then you need to sign up for github.com. okay, I already did and I'm already signed in. Okay, so after you sign in, you will have to create one repository. Now repository is a place where all your code is going to be saved for a particular project. So just create one repository, new repository, and I'm going to call that repository let's say git demo, but based on whatever project you are working on, your name is going to be based on that. Okay, so I'm going to call it git demo for now. Now description is optional, you can write anything, and I'm going to set it to private. Okay, if you set it to public, then this repository is going to be available for everyone. Okay, anyone can access it, but for now I'm going to keep it for keep private. Okay, and then I'm going to initialize this repository with a readme file. This is going to be automatically created for me, so and just create repository. Okay, so this is my repository. Now we are going to add code to this repository for our projects. Okay, now click on this clone or download button here, and this URL is for this repository that we are going to use from our terminal. Okay, just copy this URL to our clipboard so that we can use from our terminal. Okay, now what we are going to do is go back to our terminal. Before that, I'm going to create one dummy project here on my D drive. So let's call it git demo. Okay, git project, whatever. So in this git project, we are going to copy all that files from our repository. Okay, right now there is no not much there, only readme file is going to be there, but if there were any more files, they would be copied here. I'm just going to show how to copy all the repository files here from a command prompt. Okay, so just change our directory to change the drive first, and this is going to be our D git project. So right now we are in our git project directory, and here we are going to copy all that files from our remote repository. Okay, so just type git clone. This clone is a command to copy everything our remote repository to our current working directory. Okay, so git clone, and then just paste that URL that we got from our GitHub account for this project, for this repository. So click enter, and you see that cloning into git demo. So all that files are going to be copied into git demo. Okay, so you can see a directory has been created here, git demo, and inside that there is a readme file. Okay, so we are going to change our directory to git demo, and this is our current working directory for git. So whatever we do with git, that corresponds to this project. Okay, this repository. All right, so first thing we are going to check is the status. Okay, git status. This is going to tell you that if there is any unsaved file in our current working directory, that whatever project we are working on. But right now we have not done anything, just copied those files from our remote repository to our local machine. So right now nothing much to see here, but anyway we're going to use that git status and see. So nothing to comment, working tree clean. In a minute I'm going to explain what that means. Okay, now what we are going to do is, suppose we are working on a project. Okay, and that project contains lots of files. For now I'm going to create some directory here, say I don't know, directory 1, and just call it directory 2, whatever project that you are working on, directory 2, and let's say there is one text file there inside the project. I don't know, file 1. Now the text file, let's say file 2. So just pretend that this is our great software that we are developing. For now, this is our these are our files. Okay, so let's check the status now. Git status. Something happened now. Okay, now Git is telling you that there are two untracked files, file1.txt and file2.txt. So this is our current untracked files. Now before we can add these files to our repository, we're going to have to move this file to our staging area. Okay, file1 text and file2 text. So we need to tell Git that we need to add these two files to our repository. So for that, by the way, directory 1 and directory 2 would be there if this two were not empty, but right now they are empty, so this has not been added to this untracked file list. But inside that, if there was another file, let's say new text document, and let's say it's text3 file 3, and now if you check the status with git status, now you see that directory has been added, directory 1, because it is not empty, and directory 2 is still empty, so it is not added here. So anyway, now we need to tell Git that we want to add all this unsaved file, untracked files to our repository. First we'll going to have to add this to the staging area. I already explained what staging area is. So let's say git add, and add all these files one by one, file1.txt, file2.txt, file2.txt, and directory 1. Now you can do that, or if you want everything to add at once without typing all that thing, all the file name individually, then all you have to do is git add a, capital A. So that is going to add every untracked files to our staging area. So now we are going to click enter, and that is going to add everything to our staging area. So if you check the status now, git status, now you see these are the changes to be committed that has to be added to our repository. Means it's ready, but we still have not added them to our repository. To add all these files to the repository, what we are going to need to do is call git commit. Okay, now if we add this commit, alright, so if we commit now, that means we are going to add all these three files into our git repository. Okay, in our good local repository, that is. Still it's not going to be changed in our remote repository. For that we are going to do something else, but for now let's say git commit, and we are going to have to add a message to it that what we have done so far. So just say message is added 3 files, added 3 new files, but based on whatever you are working on, whatever changes you made to your files, you just write it here and just click enter. So now it says that it has added 3 new files. Okay, so it has already been added now to your local git repository. If you check the status now, git status, now it is going to tell you that nothing to commit, because we already added these files and there is no more changes there. Okay, since we did the last commit, so it will say that nothing to commit, working tree is clean. All right, now what we are going to do is we are going to move all that files to our remote repository. Still our remote repository has not been affected. All that changes have been saved locally. Okay, we can still access those project files if we are offline, if you're working offline, but we want to make those changes and upload those files to our remote repository. So for that, what we need to do is just call git push. So this is going to add all those files that we already committed to our remote repository. So git push, and let's see what happens. Okay, alright, so now let's go to our GitHub account and let's see what happened. We just refresh it and see all those files and directory that we have created. Now it is uploaded to your GitHub account. Okay, great. So you can add any number of files and add them all and just post those to your GitHub account, okay, for the current project. So that's great. Now file 1 and file 2 are still empty. We haven't actually wrote anything inside it. Let's say something about these files. Okay, so this is a file. This is file 1. This is file 1. Okay, and we're going to edit file 2 and say this is file 2. So now we have made some changes to files. Okay, now let's check what Git is going to tell us, if it can really know that we have made some changes and what it has to tell us. So git status. Now you see that file 1.txt has been modified and file 2 text has been modified. So these two files has been modified. Okay, and no change added to commit. We just need to commit, just need to commit them modified to modified text files. I'm sorry, first we need to add all these files to the staging area. So git add, we are going to add all, then git commit with a message modified to text files. Alright, so now we have added these two files, the modified files, to the staging area. Now what we are going to do is to commit these two files. So git commit and with message that says added. Oh, already committed, right? I'm sorry. So this has already been done. So right now what we are going to do is to push this new commit to our remote repository. So git push and all the modified file has been pushed to our remote repository. So if we go to our repository, remote repository, refresh it, and if we open up the file 1 and we see that this is a file 1. Okay, so whatever change we made, that has been uploaded to your GitHub account. Okay, now let's see how we can create branches in our GitHub project. Now you create branch when you want to modify your project files, or you want to add new features to your software or whatever project you're working on, but you don't want to mess up with your main line of work. In that case, you can create a branch, make all the modifications there, and when you are done you can just merge it back to your main main work, that is the master branch. So currently we are in master branch, that's the only branch we have. Now we want to create a new branch. So first go to the terminal and just type, first let us check how many branches are there. Okay, so git branch, that's going to list all the branches that we have in our local repository. Now if we also want to search how many branches are there in our remote repository also, then we can say git branch and -a. So this is going to tell us how many branches are there in our remote repository also. So there is also one branch here, that's master branch, and also in our remote local repository there is the master branch. So now we are going to create a new branch. Okay, to do that by typing git branch, and we can assign a branch name here. I'm going to call it test branch. Okay, so now it's going to create a new branch that's called test branch. Check how many branches are there right now. Git branch -a. So right now there are two branches in our local repository, that is master and test branch, and only one repository, that is the master branch, because we have not pushed the changes yet into our master branch in our remote repository. Anyway, we are going to do it later, but right now we are in we are in our local repository, and that's called master. So we are going to change our current working repository. So we do that by git checkout. Checkout is a command to change our branch, and then name your branch, test branch. So it says switch to branch test branch. So currently our working branch is our test branch. Okay, if you check now git branch, it says test branch is our working repository now. This star is here, and also color has been changed to green. So currently we are in test branch. Now whatever changes we make to our files, that is only going to stay in our test branch after we commit, of course, and that changes are not going to be there in master branch. Okay, because now we are working with test branch. So let's go to our project files. This is our project, dummy project. So if you check the file 1, this is file 1, it's same as the master branch. Just check the status now. Nothing to commit, working pretty clean. But right now if we make any modification to the this file, let's say we modify it by saying this file has been modified in test branch, and we save it. Now if we check the status from our terminal, let's see what Git is going to tell us. Git status, and it says file1.txt has been modified as expected. We're going to add this to staging area by git add file1. Yeah, this. Okay, so git status, it has been modified. We need to commit now, so git commit message is this is our first commit of test branch. It's been committed, so git status, nothing to commit, working tree clean. Okay, now let's open up file 1. You see this says this is file 1, this file has been modified in test branch. But if we switch to master branch, let's switch to master branch now, just like before. Git checkout master, it's going to set our current working branch to master. And if you open up file 1, now you see that second line is not there that we wrote in our test branch. So this file has not been changed in our master branch. Cool. So now whatever change we make to our test branch, that is not going to reflect in our original work. Okay, so let's go back to our test branch. Git checkout test branch. So now we'll again, if we check this in our test branch, this is showing up again, same file but with two different versions in two different branches. Anyway, now we are going to push these changes to our remote repository, because if you check the remote repository, there is only master branch right now, and file1.txt is I think I made these changes before I made the tutorial. Anyway, I'm going to update that. Git checkout master. I'm going to push this first. Those changes has not been pushed. Okay, so now if we check our master branch, we only have master branch right now. This is file 1. Okay, anyway, now what we're going to do is we just need to push that new branch to our remote repository. For that, we say git push, and u is to tell the git that we are going to also drag this branch, and we say origin as the name of the default name of our repository, and the branch name test branch. It should create a new branch in our remote repository. Let's see. Now you can see there is also this test branch. Okay, if you switch to test branch, and this file is already open, so now it says this is file 1, this file has been modified in test branch. And if you switch to master branch, you see that line is not there. So now we have seen how we can create a branch and how we can modify file in that branch. Now once we feel that we have modified all our files in our test our new branch, and now we want to merge it back to our original work, because we think it's stable now, whatever new features that we were working on. Now we can merge it back to our original work. So for that, let's go back to git checkout master. Right now we're in our master branch, and we need to merge it with our test branch now. So git merge test branch, that is going to merge the test branch to our current working branch, that is the master branch. Okay, now it has been modified and it has been merged. Now we can just push git push, git push, and let's see if this made any difference. And see, we are in master branch and this file has been modified. Okay, that means we are successfully merged with our master branch. Now what we can do is, because now we don't need our old branch, that is the test branch. We can delete it because now we have our updated work in our master branch. We can delete it by just saying git branch delete and name of the branch, that is test branch, and it says deleted branch test branch. Now let's check out how many branches we have. Git branch, it says we have only one master branch in our local repository, but we have 2 branches in our remote repository because we have not deleted that repository in our remote repository. So now we need to delete that. You can keep it, but just to clean things off, you can just delete it. Okay, you can delete it by git branch git push, and then you say the origin delete and name of your branch in your remote repository. So this should delete our this branch. Oh, I made one typo here. Origin test origin. Git push origin delete test branch. It should delete. Okay, it says deleted. Now if we refresh our remote repository, there is no test branch. Okay, so only master branch is here. So anyway, that way we can create a branch, modify files there, and once we are satisfied, we can merge it back and then delete it. Okay, so that way we can make sure that our original work is always safe and we don't mess it up. So that's branching. Okay, now let's see another git command called pull. Suppose multiple developers are working on a project, our current git demo project, and this is developer 1, and we have another developer working on the same project. Okay, so let's open up another terminal to represent another developer, and let's say this is another developer. This is developer 2. So this is developer 1 and this is developer 2. So let's go to our git project. Let's create a different project folder for our second developer, and let's say git project 2. Okay, so this is for our second developer. So the second developer is going to clone the remote repository to his directory, and he's going to work on that and make modifications. And now each developer has to know what other developers are doing, right? So let's say how we can handle that. So now this is our developer 2 and this is our developer 1. So developer 2 is going to go to the D drive and git project 2. Okay, so right now we are in, the second developer is in git project 2 in his own working directory. So we are going to clone that remote repository to the second developer's working directory. Okay, so git clone and paste that URL, enter. It is cloning. Now in git project 2, that all that files has been copied here, whatever we have we had in our remote repository. So all that files have been added here. So let's say developer 2 is making some changes to this project by adding another file. So we are adding another file, let's say file 3, and we'll just say this is file 3. Alright, so now if we say git status, oh, we need to go to our project directory that holds the repository. So change directory git demo, and if we say git status, it says file 3 has been added. Okay, it is an untracked file, so we are going to add it. Git add file 3.txt. It's added. Now we want to commit, git commit, and in the message we write added text file 3, text file 3. Alright, so we have committed, and second user, the developer, is also going to push this to our remote repository. So git push, okay, so this has been pushed to our remote repository. So this is coming from developer 2. Alright, so we should see a file 3 here. Right now there is no file 3. If we refresh, there should be a file 3, and there is file 3. Okay, but if we have a look into developer or developer 1's directory, working directory, there is no file 3, right? So first developer need to know what developer 2 has done. So if he wants that all that updated files, what he can do is just pull the request from remote repository. So git pull, and after pull is successful, you see that file 3 is here, the same file that our second developer did. Okay, so that's the pull command. So this push and pull is going to you are going to use that most often if you are working on a team, so that's very important. Okay, so this is pull. Okay, so these are the bare essentials that you need to know in order to start using Git. Of course there are some advanced stuff, but in this video I'm not going to cover that. You can just check out the Git documentation and also Google for the references. And believe me, when there are lots of files involved, maybe you are working on a big project, like I'm working on a project right now and it has hundreds of files. So if you don't use Git and work on your project, and sometimes you can mess up, that is going to be really difficult, and it is going to cost you lots of time if you can handle that properly if you don't use Git. So Git is going to save you lots of time, and of course you can collaborate with lots of people on big projects. So that's the thing about Git. So thanks for watching the video, and if you liked it, please subscribe and also let me know in the comment. Okay, thanks, bye.